Hi, you guys. So I have the flu, and I'm excited to be on here. And we have six reveals we're gonna do. I'm gonna share my screen so we can get that going. But please just bear with me. I know I sound super nasally, and yeah, it's a little sad to sound weird when you're, but I am excited to do these reveals with you guys. I do have my tea. It's all the way down here. And yeah, so basically, what I want to do is I want to start sharing more of these DNA reveals because you guys sent me so many and they were amazing. I was trying to figure out how many do we do at once. I wanted to just do six tonight. So I have six. And the reason I picked six was because I wanted to have time for you guys to react. And so I set it up where we're going to hear a little bit of this person's story. I'm going to share their DNA and then we'll do their ta-da photo. And I was actually really excited going through the submissions and waiting to see what you look like. I don't know what it is. It's just super fun. So if you haven't submitted and you want to, I will leave a link at the bottom of the chat, or if somebody else can find it and put it there, like kind of put it there, but I'll do it after when this becomes a real video. And so let's just jump right in. I actually have two screens, which I'm like so technologically troubled. So we'll see how this goes. So if I can actually, okay, it worked. So the first person we're going to talk about, I don't know if it's Sharida or Sharida. I felt like it was Sharida. That's what I felt like it was when I first read it. But now that I'm doing it online in front of people, I don't know. So, and I see somebody down here saying they were supposed to send a photo of me. If you didn't, go ahead and just do it again. We'll do this again. So I'm going to say Sharida unless she gets on here. It's like, no, that's not what it is. Her story is really interesting. Her family is from Virginia. So I just want to read one quote from her. But she told me that her family was listed as white in the 1920s. Her mother's father, so her maternal grandfather, drowned in 1924. And the certificate says supposed to be an accident. I was like, okay. And she went on to say, I have my notes here, I knew we were multi-generationally mixed race, but I was surprised by the percentage of European ancestry. This is really good. My family continues to identify as Black American. My father's family were all free people as early as the colonial era. My mother first appeared in the 1920 census as an infant with her parents. They were listed as white. And then my mother's father drowned in 1924 under mysterious circumstances. What jumped out to me, first of all, if you guys have been with me, Virginia, 1924. Like, I'm going to play teacher here, little quiz. Like, what happened in Virginia in 1924? It was a Racial Integrity Act. And so when she said her father died under mysterious circumstances in Virginia in 1924, I was like, I don't know. That's weird. All right, I'm going to zoom in on this. Hers is the only one that's a little blurry because it was sent in such a long thing. So I'm going to let's cover her name there. So she has southeastern England, northwestern Europe, 14%. She has Ireland, 14%. A lot of just Great Britain, 11%. Then Nigeria, 10%. Northern Wales, 9%. Now we have Western Bantu people, 5%. Ivory Coast, Ghana, 4%. Benin and Togo, 4%. France, 4%. And we're going down Mali to more Ireland, Yoruba land, West Africa, North Africa. Then we have Norway, we have Germany. This is like 22 regions for this lady. So this woman, before I show you her picture, she is about 54% European and about 36% African, generally, the continent of Africa. It's not the best way to talk about her DNA by continent, but there it is. 22 regions. And she says her family identifies as Black Americans, and they always have. And we're going to talk about why would that be? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So she is technically, DNA-wise, according to this test, which, you know, more European than African, but her family has been Black for generations. But that is not a contradiction, and this is what I get so excited about. She's multi-generationally mixed. That's what it is. The free people of color communities have been intermarrying since the 1600s, especially over on the East Coast. So there's not like a white grandparent that she's going to find in her tree. Now, she said her mom's thing is, labeled as white, but they actually see themselves as people of color. And this is the mystery of being an American. when I get Europeans in the chat or in the comments, their minds sometimes are blown by what's going on over here. Like, this has been going on for a while. So I'm going to show you her picture. But one thing that was really interesting is that she was from, it looks like Charles City area. These are some of the oldest continuously free mixed families in the nation. Like, this is American history this woman has. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to show you what she looks like, and we'll go on to number 2. So she's more European than African on paper, but her family is Black, and they've considered themselves Black for generations. Did any of you come back with more or less than what you expected? Like, you're like, identify this way, but the paper doesn't reflect that. I would love to hear that. Okay, so let me show you what she looks like. She's beautiful. I have to zoom out. Sorry. I told you guys, listen, it's not just the flu. It's that I need like a helper. Okay, here she is. Isn't she pretty? Like, so beautiful, so chill. And I was just so grateful for her sharing this, because obviously it's a big deal to share your information and your face on the internet. Like, I know all about that. It's risky. But I feel like it's such a massive contribution to the conversation about American identity. And yeah, somebody, P. Care Bear one said, it reminds me of Walter White from the NAACP. Yeah, I did a video on Walter White because I was fascinated by him. And if you don't know the story, you know, he identifies as a Negro, but he actually had less African ancestry than my mom, who I didn't even know she was connected to anything. Like, but he was in the NAACP, and what he did is he passed for good, so he could infiltrate Klan meetings and find out what was going on to stop lynchings. And yeah, just amazing American history. So I loved this. I was really excited about this. She said her father died in 1924. Maybe it was her mom's dad. Maybe it's her mom's dad. I told you guys. The other thing I did was I didn't want to come on here with no medicine, having the flu, so I did half a dose of nighttime NyQuil. Like, what was I thinking? I'm worried we might have a little too much fun. I don't know. This person said, no offense, she looks Caribbean white or like Spanish living in South Florida. She definitely, let me tell you what she looks like when I saw her. She looks like a light version of my dad's mom. And my dad's mom is like Southern Italian. She looks like a light version, like of my dad's mom, my grandmother, when she was younger. And I was really surprised by that, but also not, you know, we're all connected. All right. Let's see if I can figure out the next page. The next one's interesting. So this is Michael, and I'm going to tell you what he said about himself. This one actually, it was like, I don't know how it worked like this, but it did. He said that he's been doing amateur genealogy for about 20 years. He knows his maternal line is Louisiana Creole. He was looking for his Italian roots, and then he stumbled on my channel, and then realized that I also have Louisiana, so he's doing that work. And he had questions for all of us. I think I would ask you guys to help me. He has Creole matches, and he's not sure if these are cousins or if he's directly descended. And I'm going to show you why he is asking that. So let's look at his DNA. And I'm calling this one the Creole line that reads white. Now listen, I know Creole is not color, but when you see his results and then you see his communities, you're going to see why he was like a little confused. So let's see if I can awkwardly switch this. I think I have to scroll down. Okay, and this is how, in his own words, he said, this is how to systematically cover up your Louisiana Creole identity. Love his maternal line. And we think there might have been some cover up going on for a while. So I'm going to show you, he gave me a bunch of screenshots. So let's look at the MyHeritage ones. So he had, it looks like 27% Swedish, 11% Southern Italian, 10% Scottish and Welsh, 10% Norwegian. We have English, we have Finnish, Germanic, Northern Italian, French, Dutch, Irish. Okay. But then if you look down here at these genetic groups, he's got Creoles of color in Louisiana. Creoles of color in Louisiana. He took another test that he shared. This one also had, as far as I can see, 0% African, 0% indigenous. And if you see it again, you know, he's going through and doesn't have any, but he does have that Creole of color line. So I just want to tell you, according to his tests, he's reading essentially 100% European, which is fine. But then he's like, well, I know my family is from Louisiana and they were supposedly Creole, and then they're getting Creoles of color as a community. What does that mean? What do you guys think? And he had about 1% French showing up. So here he is. I have a couple pictures from him. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I was thinking about, what do you do with Creole identity if you are running from it? You don't necessarily hide it. That's one thing you can do. My family did that. But you can also dilute it. You can dilute. And so generation after generation of marrying European until the percentages and the people just kind of read as white, but there's something there that's still connecting him to that oral history. He's still getting this genetic group. Why is he getting it? Now, I don't know. I'm not a geneticist. I would like to hear what your thoughts are on that. I can make an assumption that there may have been some passing in his family tree, maybe someone that was already highly admixed, and you just keep marrying people who are just European. That's what's going to happen, but something will show up. Now, I don't have his haplogroups, so I don't know, Michael, if you want to add that to a comment, or if you're watching, if you want to toss them in there. But haplogroups can be kind of a big deal if you're kind of looking for missing ancestry. And I've shared this a bunch of times, but I only have like maybe 7 to 10% indigenous ancestry, depending on the test. But my haplogroup from my mom is C1C, and that's an indigenous one. And then my dad's, even though he's Italian, he has a Middle Eastern one that's long, and I can't remember it. But that is another way to look for these markers where maybe the percentages aren't showing up. Maybe I don't know if his mom has tested, his grandma, but if they test, maybe that missing percentage is there. Obviously, it will be higher than his. And weird story, I don't talk about it a lot just because she wants to have privacy, but I have a sister who's younger than me, and we had both taken 23andMe tests originally a long time ago. And it was real weird because she got hers, and hers skewed very different than mine. Like, I had 15% extra Egyptian that she didn't have. She had like 1% or whatever of it. And so she could take a test and be like, oh, we don't really have this. But then I'm taking it because we've talked about this. Like, you get a different share of the genetic, makeup when you're born. So I'd be curious about that. But he's reading 100% white on paper. But what's it mean? He's still got that community in there. So I don't know if he's connected with family. I think that's probably the most important thing, is to find your people, find your family. And I just want to read some of you guys' comments in the chat. SR2291 said, I had a friend who was light-skinned blonde and told me she was Cajun from Louisiana. Yeah, I don't want to get involved in that Cajun thing. I did a video about like Cajuns, and yeah, they came out like kicking. Like, Cajuns are something else, and I'm not familiar enough with it. Like, it showed up as a community group for me, but I don't know. I still don't totally know the difference with the Acadian stuff. Oh, I think I see you, Michael. Okay, let me ask you. Has your mom taken a test or your grandma taken a test? And did they have any African or indigenous or anything like that? I'm super curious. So he's in the chat as extant ape, I think. So I'm going to keep going, but I'm curious about that. All right, this next one is really cool. This girl actually made a Reddit post so I could use it, and then the Reddit post like blew up on her because it was so interesting. She's so beautiful. But it was this idea that Black people are not monolithic. I believe that's this one. It's a grandmother and a granddaughter, and they have very different results. Okay, just I see Michael in the chat saying his mom, I wish I had thought to get my grandma tested before she passed. Yeah, it's awful when we look back and like, we didn't get everything, but you're still doing something right now. And that's important. And maybe if she has siblings or anything like that would test, any of that would be really awesome to have. All right, so I want to read to you from this one, and I don't have her name. So she had messaged me and I asked her for her name, and I just didn't hear back from her. So we can make up a name for her. She's really pretty. So you guys make up a pretty name. She said, my grandmother and I are both Black Americans from California, and with 4 Black grandparents. My grandmother has Louisiana Creole roots also, and then Tidewater, Chesapeake Bay, Virginia roots, and just Tennessee, Texas roots. And she said, Black Americans are multi-generationally mixed. We are not a monolith when it comes to looks or genetic diversity. Okay. So, oh, Science Bay 510, that's you. Okay. Oh, hi. I'm so glad to see you. Okay. So, this is such a massively important topic. And I have to tell you, I'm humbled by this topic because I'm still not calling myself Black. I'm still not going to do it. But the comments I've gotten from so many people will tell me, "Oh, you just look like my light skinned auntie," or like you look like our whatever cousins. And I realized that without knowing it, I have had these preconceived notions of like who counts, even though it like, goes against everything I believe. Subconsciously, we still are operating in these categories that have been put on us culturally. And so I just loved her story, and I agree with her 100% that it's not monolithic. Like, what a weird idea to even think it is. Why? Why? And it's a case study in that for sure. Okay, so let me go over to my second screen, see if I can do it. Okay, so we have her picture, and we're gonna see her grandma. So, she had, and I love that she had her in her. Wait until you see this other picture. Um, so it said her 73% sub-Saharan African, her grandmother 53, her 26% European, her grandma 46. She had a little East Asian, a little indigenous that didn't show up on her grandma's. Um, British, I was like not zoomed in enough and I thought it said Black Irish. I was like, pretty sure that's not a thing. British and Irish, 21%. Um, More English, Irish, Welsh. Okay, so we have a lot of pictures from her. So I just want to go through these and then we'll scroll back up. Isn't she so pretty? Okay, so look at her grandma. Like, are you for real? Like, I don't even feel like they make cameras like this anymore. I actually got a Polaroid camera like a year or so ago. And the ones that's like they print out the little picture. You look a lot better on a Polaroid camera. I don't know what the iPhone's doing to me, but I always feel like a true monster when I see those pictures. But the Polaroid, I was like, okay, all right, like I can go outside today. It's fine. Um, I want to show you her grandmother's groups. But first of all, well, look, so she had less African, and I know sub-Saharan Africa, I feel like is just such a way to say it on these tests, but that's what they do. 53%. And she had more European, and her communities here were Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas Creoles, Jamaican. I do not know what Piney Woods, Mississippi African Americans is. I have no idea what that is. So I think I need to look into that. River Parishes, Greater New Orleans Creoles. She got some more. She did real good. She gave me a lot. I just don't know how to get down to it. There we go. More genetic groups: Arkansas, Arkansas, West Timberlands, African Americans, Chesapeake Bay, African Americans, Delmarva Peninsula, and African Americans. I've never heard of this. Like, it's crazy to have stuff I've never heard of this. Southern Mississippi Pines. We have Southern Plains, Virginia, Upper Ohio River. I mean, this is so crazy specific. The Virginia Tidewater, we're going to be doing something on that. But if you're able to get an older family member, maybe your grandparent has passed away, like some of you were saying, get your great aunt, get your great uncle, get everyone you can, because not everyone's going to have the same results, but it's like everybody has a little piece of that puzzle that we can work on. So the deal here with these tests, and what I thought was really interesting, actually, maybe I'll go back up to her picture while I'm talking. So we have a grandmother and granddaughter. The granddaughter is 73% African, 26% European. Her grandma is basically half-half. And she's the older generation. But what I thought was really interesting is her grandmother had 10% French and she had zero. She had zero. Again, so when you're taking a test and you're like, I guess I'm not French, whatever. No. Like, you don't know how that shuffled out. I don't know why I got so much Egyptian and my sister got so little. Like, maybe I got more than would have been half, whatever, who knows? It's like, unless my dad, he ended up taking it, but somebody else takes it to kind of at least triangulate. It's really helpful. But I think, the origins are stable. We see the similar origins, but the percentages are shuffling all over the place. So I think, again, absence in your DNA is not absence in your ancestry. So she didn't have that French show up. It doesn't mean that's not her ancestry. And that's a big deal to me. I think when we're doing family work and then we're doing genealogy and DNA testing, and we really hang our hat on those percentages, or at least I do. And yeah, so I said genetics is like a slot machine for real. Can I tell you guys, I just went to Vegas for the first time in my life in March. I went for my 40th birthday, and it was really fun. I won everything back that I lost. So that's a win for me. But genetics is like that. Like you just don't know what's going to happen. It's so interesting. And yeah, there's a lot of DNA we don't inherit. Let's see. Aubrey Muhammad Allah was saying, I'm sorry, Danielle, we can't trust Caucasian controlled DNA institutions any more than their miseducational system, which they prove has no value towards truth. FBA, make our own. Yeah, well, I would not hang your hat on the DNA test, like for sure don't. I have a compilation coming out in a couple weeks of a lot of the videos where I've done DNA tests or talked about my tests. I'm just going to squeeze it all together. You can see how stuff has changed, and the updates like drive you nuts. But I think it's still important to get your communities. The DNA communities are really valuable. I really love them, and your haplogroups. So I gambled. I did. It was my first time, and the absolute stress I felt because I don't know. I don't know. I thought if I thought positive thoughts, like that would mean I would make $1 million, and that didn't work. I was really disappointed by it. So I ended up figuring it out. Which is to say I didn't figure it out. At least I didn't go home broke, but it was super fun. Let's go to this next one is Jasmine. We're going to talk about phenotype is not your percentage. And what I mean by that is how you look. People want to just kind of assume, oh, you must be X, Y, and Z. And it's like you may have pulled different genes for your phenotype than what they're expecting, and it's kind of the magic of how inheritance works. I think it's really amazing. So Jasmine is interesting. So she said that there's no sign of indigenous links, and almost every Black person I've talked to in Kentucky has a very high percentage of Nigerian heritage. But my great-grandmother could have passed for white, and she shares the name of a very prominent white family from that time, the Binghams of Louisville. I just feel like an alien, though, because my mother and sister had very different hair texture from mine, aka good hair. I'm a hairdresser, so this intrigues me, especially since a client asked if I had Native American heritage. So the setup here is she's a hairdresser. We're talking about her family through phenotype. So that's what we're going to be looking through here. And this idea of possible Native ancestry, possible secret European ancestry. And the good hair thing is super sensitive to me. In part because if you've been on this channel for a couple of years, you've gone with me through my cycles of getting my hair relaxed, swearing it off, doing a big chop. I'm back on. Now I'm sick of it. I'm relaxing it. Right now, before I came back on YouTube last month, I cut off like 4 inches of relaxed hair. So now it's like relaxed to here. And so I have to like do a whole thing to make it match. And it's hard to get out of that cycle because my mom and my sister have what I'd say they have easy hair. I don't know how else to say it. Like my hair has always been an insecurity of mine because of how difficult it is to deal with it. And I know other people have much more difficult hair. If we're looking at the spectrum of like whose hair is the hardest, but it just always was a sore spot for me. And I remember as a little girl feeling like I would be a lot more beautiful if I could have hair that was straight. Like if I could just get out of the shower and it just was straight up, like man, like that would change everything. And I realized, getting older, now I have kids and my 2 daughters, one of my daughters, her hair is actually changing. It was straight and she's 12 and a half and it's like getting way more textured. And she was like, Mom, I don't know what to do with it. I was like, all right, like time to set a good example. So I was really intrigued by Jasmine's story about the good hair. So I'm going to show you her DNA test. I'm going to try to take a quiet sip of my tea. Okay. So she had 37% Nigeria, 15% Benin and Togo, 6% Ivory Coast and Ghana, 4% Central West Africa, 4% Mali, 4% Senegal. We have Western Bantu peoples, Cameroon. Then she did have English. She had 3% West Midlands, 1% Cornwall. Denmark, Germany, like, okay, so there is European there. So it's about 37% Nigerian, 8% European, but no indigenous showed up on here. And that's not saying she doesn't have that heritage. Again, check haplogroups, have your grandma test, something like that. But let's look at her picture and talk. And she also had mentioned, I apologize if Jasmine, you didn't say so. I had a note that you had talked about high yellow. We had talked about that on here. So I'm gonna jump down here. Isn't she like beautiful? And I just want to again point out, I feel like everyone's so comfortable in front of the camera. When I get a picture taken, it is like something takes over, and I just somehow end up making the grossest face. My body's contorted. Like I don't know how to have this aura that this woman has. Um, but again, she's talking about there's some people that have like the good hair side of the family. And why is that? Why does that happen? There was not a ton of European ancestry, but again, this is the like Russian roulette that people, me included, like sometimes it's hard to believe. Like you're mostly this, but then you came out with this feature that can't be right. Um, but that's it happens. It happens again, especially with multi-generationally mixed people. Like you don't know what's going to come out of that bag when you grab it. Um, Let me jump in and see Yadin Zedek 777. I think I sent my picture in. I don't remember which one. If you sent in your DNA and I didn't get to it tonight, I'm hoping we can do this more regularly. I always get nervous coming on streams though, because I'm like, what if it's just like me and my mom? And my mom's so good. She'll come on and she'll be like, good job, Danielle. But I do feel nervous on streams. So I don't know. Maybe if we can all promise that we'll meet up together for another one. I'll do the rest of your submissions. I would like to hear if you guys, the good hair, not good hair, like what your experiences have been, if you'll let me know in the chat. And this Native American ancestor. So she's from Kentucky. So I consider that the South. I'm from New York. So Pennsylvania feels like the South to me. I remember like, what are you guys doing down here? But she very well may have distant Native ancestry again if she checks her haplogroups and some other things that you can look for, but it is possible for it to not show up as a percentage for real. This is Nicole said, my granny was considered high yellow back in the day, but my great grandmother's hair was long enough to sit on. That is crazy. That is a genetic thing. I don't have that, but my middle daughter, her hair is I don't even know how to explain it. It looks like a Disney princess. It's so long. It's so thick. It has like a slight wave, and she is brutal to it. Like I'm so careful with my hair because my hair will snap if I look at it wrong. Like the ends are just breaking like that. She's rough and it just grows beautifully. And I'm like, you know what? So much is just genetic. We cannot control so much about how we look. Gotta let it go. I'm like, I'm not gonna have the Disney princess hair. And finally, Lisa said, my mom lost her mind over my hair. Hers is super straight. Mine seems mostly straight, but acts like Velcro. Yeah. There's so many different things, different ways for stuff to show up. I find it super, super interesting. And my son is, he has very, very textured hair. And I told him today before church, I was like, we are taking you to a barber. We've always done his hair at home. And it's just not. Like my husband does a good job cutting it, but I think we need like professional help right now. We need professional help. So a Hispanic barbershop just opened up around the corner. I think we're going to bring him in. He's really stressed about it. But I was like, he gets like, because his hair is super textured. He doesn't have clean edges or anything. It's just like all messy. I don't know. I'm bringing him in. All right. Number 5 is Paula. And I have her called a product of the Americas. Oh, I just want to answer. This is Nicole. She said, are haplogroups available on Ancestry? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Jasmine, by the way. Okay. This thread's wonderful. Okay. Sorry, Jasmine. So my haplogroup was from 23andMe. I don't think Ancestry does it. I'm pretty sure it's just 23andMe, which is why I recommend taking all these stupid tests, even though they change and everything. And just to say again, I've done 23andMe, that was by far the least accurate test, but I got my haplogroup. And my heritage, a lot of people complain about it, but that matched, I feel like, my paper trail really well. So I really liked that one. But the haplogroups are definitely worth having. Okay. And we have Paula in the chat. Hi, Paula. All right, so I'm excited about yours. Yours is really interesting. So she said, it's just a speck in my DNA, but it's the most seen. It is crazy. So I'm going to tell you what she said. She said, my mom's side is Honduran and Nicaraguan, mestizos, but my grandfather was considered mulatto. And my dad's side is white with deep Virginia and Maryland roots. And I just see myself as a real product of the Americas. But it's mind blowing because Sephardic popped out. And other Jews and Lebanese people, though, have sworn I was Sephardic or Lebanese. And it's just a speck in my DNA, but it feels like it's the most seen. So what she's saying here is basically, and I want to show you, she does have a little bit of Sephardic. And it's like, you would think other things would have taken over her DNA. But she's saying this is when people walk up to you and that's the thing they see. This is what they're seeing. So I'm excited to show you her picture. Let's go through her. This one, again, I did a kind of a bad job on zooming in. So we'll just scroll up, hide her name there. Okay, so she had Central America, about 30%, really, if we're looking at, she had Panama, Costa Rica. That's about 30%, though. She has about 25, 30%. We're looking at Ireland plus a little Scottish. She has about 15% England. She has Iberian Peninsula, Western Europe, the Netherlands, France. I mean, there's a lot here, right? And then she has Sephardic Jews from Northern Africa, 3%, and then Sephardic Jews in the Eastern Mediterranean, 1%. So it's there, but it's not like a ton, right? Western Bantu peoples, 2%, Senegal, 2%, Northeastern Italy, 1%, and I can't even read the bottom because of how blurry I made it. I'm just gonna say Ionian Islands. I'm pretty sure it's what I said. And then she has her ancestral journeys, which I love these. Like, if you take a DNA test and you throw all the percentages out, literally throw them out, keep your ancestral journeys. They are amazing. And Paula's saying, I've even been offered food in Lebanese restaurants before, just based on how she looks. I love that. Okay, so I just want to look at her journeys, and then we'll jump over to her picture. And she is like a natural beauty. Like, I would never be able to take a picture as naturally beautiful as this woman is. So wait until you see her. I can tell she's a really, really beautiful person on the inside, too. Delaware and Chesapeake Bay settlers, Delaware Valley, Chesapeake, Midwest settlers, and then Honduras she has, and Virginia, Eastern Kentucky settlers. So this should be a fun family tree, right? This is a lot. Okay, let's jump down. Look at her. Doesn't she seem so warm and nice? Like, sometimes you just see people's pictures, like, you are a nice person. I know you are. Like, I picked all nice people for the first round. That must be it. Because I'm like, I look at people's eyes. I'm like, you seem really nice. Come on in. But so she's saying that her experience is basically people think she's Jewish or Middle Eastern. So let me know what you think seeing her. What would you think? Would that pop out to you? And I'll see what you guys say in the chat while I'm going through this. So her mom is the Central American, plus the Iberian, plus the West African. And her dad is this big British Isles block, plus that would be the Chesapeake journeys and stuff. So we're seeing Virginia again. Virginia is such a huge, important part of genealogy. And you may not think you have ties to Virginia. I didn't think I did. If you go back far enough, you probably do if your family's been here for a while. And Sephardic, she had about 4%. That's small, but she's saying this is what people are reading on her. So I think that's super interesting. I mean, obviously it's real history. I don't know exactly her family story, but we know 1492, we had the Spanish expulsion. Jews are being kicked out. And so maybe it came from that. I don't know a lot about that history, and I would really like to learn about, but it looks like the Iberian numbers fluctuate at the updates. But Iberian's a lot too. I mean, it's a highly mixed area. So this is the first thing people guess about her. I would like to know from you guys in the chat, even though I don't have your picture, do people guess something about you, like, but it's not how you identify? I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna take one more quiet sip. Okay, Rocket Reindeer. Oh, good to see you. He said my first vibe from her photo is mestizo. I actually showed my daughter was helping me, and I was asking her, like, what do you think? And she was like, no, she's definitely Hispanic. I was like, that's how she read it, and it's just interesting. As I definitely want to look through this. Okay. Okay, so my story. So it's just interesting to have people just read whatever. And I realize a lot of people are looking for people that are, we want to find people who are similar to us. And so I think we're looking through a lens of our own experiences. And so that's part of it where, people are going to see you and they're like, oh, like you remind me of back home, or I want to be reminded of back home. Are you also this? But I was at my kids' gymnastics class, and this dad was there that I didn't know, and his daughters were in there too. And he was like looking over at me, like not like a like creepy way, but I could just feel like he was gonna come over. There's just like I can just tell when someone's about to come over and like ask me something. And he spoke a little bit English, but apparently he's from Mexico, and he's lived here for a little while. But he asked me in Spanish, which I couldn't answer. But eventually he asked me in English if I was Mexican or if I was Muslim. I was like, well, first of all, I don't think Muslim is like the word you're looking for here. Um, but it was just really interesting because he told me I seemed like girls that he knew from back home in Mexico. And I was like, oh, like lo siento, like don't really know any Spanish. But it's just funny. I just think that that's interesting. And yeah, so okay, I want to scroll up and see some stuff people are saying on here. Yeah, I agree with you, Paula. Like so random what people see in you. But you know what? If they're gonna offer me food at their restaurant, I will be whoever you want me to be. Unless if you saw my video today, you'll know. Unless you're offering me seafood, then I'm out. I'm out. I'm gonna have to get counseling for seafood fears. Okay, I'm gonna go to our last person on here, and I want to chat with you guys. All right, I also didn't know. I hope she's in the chat because I want to pronounce her name right. I didn't know if it was Daisyah. That's how I like saw it, like when I just was saying it to myself. So I want to tell you what she said. She said, the only reason I even know I am Creole is because my great great grandma told my grandma. And after years of secrecy, my grandma told me one day. Before that, all I was told was black. And when I asked for more detail, they'd say, well, Caribbean. And it took me months of asking before she decided it was okay to tell me. Everything changed me after the test completely. It was nice to know my ancestry matched oral information that was passed down. Jason, thank you for hating seafood. I see you in the chat. I see you. Yeah, I hate it. I had like a traumatic fish stick injury as a child, and no one believes me that I cannot deal with it anymore. Like I just can't. Yeah. So she's saying that she was what jumped out to me, I guess, about this story was that it felt like my family, but the inverse, where we're being told, well, you're French, you're French, you're French. And if you go back and look at older videos, maybe I'll post it for you guys later. But before my grandmother passed away, she passed away in probably like, I think she passed away 4 years ago. She got on Marco Polo with my mom because she was living in New York and it was during COVID, stuff like that. So basically, I was sending my mom questions as a video, and my grandmother would ask or answer me. And it was the first time my grandmother like did not lie to me in my life. And my mom was actually shocked getting information from her mom for the first time. I was like, "Tell me, about our family." And she shared that her mom was Creole, her mom was Hispanic, they were black, and she went into all this stuff. And it can be really hard. So I'm really proud of Daisyah for comparing that oral information, that oral history, having it, and then trying to like figure out what's going on. So let's look at her test. If I can do it. Okay. I mean, just this line. After years of secrecy, my grandmother told me one day. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard when we're this generation, we're younger, and we're kind of like, "What's just tell me? Just tell me the truth. We just want to know the truth." But man, the baggage that our grandparents and our great grandparents definitely carried, no matter what their background is. Doesn't matter where they came from. They lived a much harder life for sure. I'm going to cough. I don't know what to do on a live stream. I'm so sorry. I think my NyQuil is not kicking in enough. I'm just really proud of her for working to preserve this stuff. So I'm going to show her DNA test. So she had about 86% sub-Saharan African, about 12% European, and that was made up of British and Irish and English. And then she had Nigerian, Ghanaian, Liberian, Sierra Leonean. I should not be reading out loud on this NyQuil. Good thing I didn't do a full dose. She also had Scottish and Welsh, Western European. She had like a trace East Asian, trace Southern Mesoamerican, North American, which I thought was really interesting. Someone's telling me girl crab legs and fish sticks taste like disappointment. What this fish stick did to me was like, I almost barely remember my childhood. Like my mom gets upset. I'm like, Mom, I don't remember anything, but I remember the day I got those fish sticks and they were in a yellow box. And I think they were like Gordon's or Captain Gordon's, and Captain Gordon did me dirty. Okay, so she had another one. She did 23andMe, and then this one looks like Ancestry to me. Again, about 87% African, 12% European. Bogwitch. Okay, I need to read what she said here. She is saying generational legacies passed via epigenetics is an interesting exploration. I agree. And what she's saying here is it seems that it's being proven that there is genetic memory, and especially passed from the maternal line. And what I've seen the hypothesis being, maybe it's been proven true, I don't know, you guys can let me know, but basically this idea that the environment that your grandmother, when your grandmother was still, before she was born, in your great grandmother's stomach or whatever. I'm saying stomach because I talked to my 7-year-old. You guys know what I'm saying. That there's this genetic memory that gets passed down, and I think there's something to it. I think it's very interesting. So we can talk about that maybe in another video. Okay, so she has this. Okay, so here's Daisyah. And she is basically saying that there was no clear Louisiana Creole signature in her DNA. There was Caribbean countries, and I think this is the thing. Creole obviously gets used as a stand-in for a lot of stuff. When my grandmother was talking to me in that video I'm telling you guys about, it's such a weird video, and I remember being embarrassed about to share with you guys, but now I'm like, it just is what it is. She's there. She's very sick. She's like very close to being about to pass away. And she's saying that my family was, and she's like, what do you call it when you're part black? And she's like and my mom is in the background saying like, mulatto? And my grandma's like, no. She's like, my mom's saying, trying to get like her to prompt. And eventually my grandmother lands on Creole. And like that I can see has been proven true in the family, but like some of these terms is like they just kind of get interchanged, Someone saying never sail with Captain Gordon. Is it Gordon or Gordon? I should have looked it up. It like suddenly flashed in front of my eyes when I was talking about it on the video I recorded for today in the AMA. Of like it was a blue box or a yellow box and it had like blue words. I feel like he was like on a ship. It was like a cartoon guy on the ship catching fish sticks for me. So her family said Caribbean, then Creole. And I think it's just interesting to see how our families are using these words, and sometimes they're proven true, sometimes they're not proven true. And how do we want to handle that? What do we want to do? Because like if you just accept what's passed down to you the first time something's handed to you, like I would just be French and Irish. That's what I would be right now. Like sometimes you have to push a little bit, you have to dig a little bit, like Daisyah is doing. And we have oral history and we have DNA, and these are different archives, but it doesn't mean that even if they don't seem like they agree, it doesn't mean that they're disagreeing with each other all the time either. I think it's important to be doing them in conjunction. And my experience, this is my experience, when I see that the oral history seems like it's wrong, I usually shelve it because guess what? Something usually comes along and proves that it was totally on point, like ridiculously on point. So I wouldn't discount the oral history. Something else may pop up and you're like, oh, there it is. I should have trusted my great aunt. It's super interesting. Yeah. And I guess I just want to encourage you guys to take DNA tests. Like I know that they are sus sometimes. I know that, everyone's concerned about their privacy and their DNA being out there. Let me tell you, don't know if I'm allowed to even say this, but are we allowed to talk about flock cameras? Probably not. But like they've already got you. I can tell you that right now. If you don't know about that, go look it up. But they've already got you. They've got everything about you recorded. Everything is there. And so I'm just going to use, the last like 40 years of my life enjoying my family research, and I'm fine with them having whatever. I don't care. I want to scroll up and just see some stuff that you guys said that maybe I missed because I'm doing these two screens and I'm awkward. I needed my husband to help me with the tech tonight, but it's summertime, so our kids are like obviously not going to go to sleep this early. So he's keeping them. I don't know what he's doing, but I haven't heard a peep. So I wanted to scroll up so I'm not just stuck on here, but maybe I'll stay in here. Yeah, so if you guys have any other questions, I'd love to engage with you guys. If you didn't see, I'm trying to do this new thing of doing an AMA, like Ask Me Anything video on Sundays. So basically, Fridays we're doing deep dives and we're doing, working with primary sources and documents and things like that. I'm going to work on a Dismal swamp video. If you're familiar with the Dismal swamp at all, I'm working on a big video on that. That's like for the like real meat and potatoes. But Sunday, sometimes you guys just have questions. I just want to chat, and so those videos are more low key. And so if you haven't checked out that video from this morning, go check it out. It was interesting. I was responding to, I think I responded to 6 questions, but one of them was asking if I would feel comfortable changing my mind and starting to identify as Black. And I thought, probably not. But I wanted to answer the question. And I share a story from when I was a little girl in that video. And so I don't want to double dip. You guys can go watch it. But I'd love for you guys to check that out. Let's see here. Jesse Saxon saying there's plenty of uncensored flock criticism on YouTube currently. Yeah, it freaks me out that you're not allowed to talk about this. I just finished rereading 1984 for like the millionth time, and scary how prophetic that book is. It's very disturbing. Let's see. Someone was recommending something for the Dismal swamp, so I'll look that up. Kendroid5120 said, what influenced you to start this channel? So crazy thing is, my channel birthday is on the 31st, so in like 5 days, and that's 4 years. And what started it was just going down to Louisiana. I was like interviewing family members over Zoom during COVID. So I was talking to my aunts, my uncles, my great uncle, my grandmother while she was still alive. And I started to just get a lot of weird stories. And I was like, I need to go to Louisiana. And so I went down and I recorded that whole process. It's like a 4-part docuseries. And it's called Finding Lola. That's my great grandmother. And so that was really just supposed to be for my family. I was just like popping the videos on. I tried to make them look decent, but it was like my first time doing anything. And so what happened was it ended up it got picked up by YouTube, which I didn't even know that could happen. And it went totally viral. And I had no idea so many other people had experiences with passing in their family. I literally knew nothing about this. And so it's just been building on that. And it's been really fun to do it together with you guys. I love having you guys here. Estella Repurposed, proud to be an NYTN OG. For sure, some of you guys have been here since the beginning. And when I look back at some of the older videos, oh my gosh, like I just feel so, like the amount of cringe that I bring on myself, like I just want to take them all down. But I'm like, nope, like that was part of the journey. Like that's how it was. And just try to keep getting better every day. Let's see. Robin Mutali said, read The Man Not by Dr. Tommy Curry. He's a professor from Louisiana and writes about philosophy and race. That sounds like a great recommendation. I would love to do that. Citrine Fairy Fire. Let me see if I can. Oh no, I lost your thing because I don't know how to scroll up. You were talking about someone being related to the Goins. Oh, you know what I could do? I could stop sharing this. I need my husband. I don't know how to get out of this thing. Guys, I can't get out of screen share. This is horrible. And Just Fluffy Quilting Yarn and Crafts. I want you guys to just see this person has been with me literally since the beginning. Love this person. Thank you so much for being with me. It's been really fun doing this. Paula said your trip to Louisiana reminded me of my trips down to Culpeper, Virginia. It was so nice to see someone the same age with your passion on history family. Yeah, I I absolutely love that you guys are doing this with me. I used to just sit in my room at night and it'd be like 2 a.m. Honestly, I was up late and I'd be just like working on census records or whatever. And it's like, how do you meet people who like doing that? Like, it's not like you can sit down like a club and we're like, let's just all open our laptops and do research. And I feel so blessed because I feel like we kind of made our own club about this. We're curious. We want to learn more. We want to understand our country better. We need to remember things about our country while we're still able to have this history. And like, look what we did. I'm like so proud of us. It's amazing. Yeah. So let's see, I want to read a couple more of these because I missed so many. Evelina said, Danielle, don't hate on your old videos. They're part of your journey and growth. Despite your opinion of their professional quality, your passion, curiosity, knowledge are what inspire us. Thank you so much. They're still a little cringe. But I think you're right. Like this is just as raw and vulnerable as possible. Like there's just I I just am sitting down and just want you to be with me and do this. And I really do feel like we are doing it together. It's crazy how it has grown like that. Um so grateful for you guys. And if you want to do more of the DNA reveals, like I have a ton still, but if you want to send me your own and do it, let me know if this was a good day time. I was thinking maybe a little earlier. I don't know. That might have just been the night cool talking because I was like, I'm so tired. I think it was just that. So let me know if we should do it earlier and what would work for you guys. But Science Bay, love you guys too. Like so grateful for you. Thank you for um, letting us create this little corner of the internet. Like I don't know how long are we gonna be allowed to have it. I don't know. But I'm really grateful for it. So that's great. I don't even know if I'll be able to press stop or end stream. I think, oh wait, I found the stop sharing button. I didn't. You guys, okay. It's time for me to go to bed. I'm gonna do that. All right, I'm gonna figure out how to end the stream and it might take me a few minutes. But I'm so grateful and thank you for everyone who shared your pictures and everything. That's really brave. And I know some people want to do DNA without the pictures, but I think for the conversation we're having, we need to have the pictures. And I think it really makes a difference to this conversation we're having about um, the preconceived notions that we hold and how to let go of those and just let people be who they are and appreciate them and love them. Thank you guys so much. And I truly don't know how to turn off the screen.